Good day, students. Welcome to our virtual class. I am Mr. Beo, your mathematics 10 teacher for this school year. For this week, we are going to discuss all about sequence. Okay, class. After going through this lesson, you are expected to demonstrate knowledge and skills related to sequences. Especially, you should be able to generate and describe patterns, identify the next few terms of a sequence, differentiate finite from infinite sequence, list the next few terms of a sequence given the general term, find the general or nth term of a sequence, and illustrate an arithmetic sequence. Before we proceed in our lesson, let's talk about first patterns. Math patterns are sequences that repeats based on a rule, and a rule is a way to solve or calculate problems. Patterns are also useful to predict what came before or what might come after a set of numbers that are arranged in a particular order. Let us try this one. Can you identify the pattern? Or can you guess what will be the next arrangement of the objects from the figure below? Try to look at the object, and I'll give you 5 seconds to identify what will be the next position of the object. Okay, time's up. This is the next position of objects. As you can see, the patterns here is the movement of objects in clockwise formation. Okay. Good job. Another. Can you guess what will be the next position of the figures below? I'll give you 5 seconds to think what will be the next position of the figures. The next position will be very good. As you can see, the position of objects is moved in a clockwise formation again. Another example. Can you guess what will be the next number from the given? We have numbers 5, 7, 9, and 11. I'll give you 5 seconds to think what will be the next number. And the next number is 13. Great job! As you can see, the patterns here is increase by 2, or every number increased by 2. So we have 5 added by 2 will become 7, added by 2 will become 9, added by 2 become 11, and added by 2 will become 13. Another. Can you guess what will be the next 3 terms from the given below? The numbers are negative 7, negative 11, negative 15, and negative 19. What will be the next 3 terms for this sequence? Okay, so the next 3 terms will be, we have negative 23, negative 27, negative 41. Excellent. So, what is the pattern for this sequence? The patterns is, we'll just simply add negative 4 to the preceding terms. So negative 7 plus negative 4, we have negative 11. Negative 11 plus negative 4, we have negative 15. And negative 15 plus negative 4, we have negative 19. Negative 19 plus negative 4, you have negative 23. Negative 23 plus negative 4, you have negative 27. And negative 27 plus negative 4, you have negative 31. Another example. Can you guess what are the missing terms from the given below? You have negative 10, negative 7, blank, negative 1, 2, 5, blank, and blank. I'll give you 5 seconds to think and give your answer. The missing terms are negative 4, positive 8, and 11. Fantastic! Can you guess what is the pattern? Yes, by adding positive 3 to its preceding terms. You have negative 7 plus 3, that will gives you negative 4. 5 plus 3 will give you positive 8, and 8 plus 3 will give you positive 11. Okay, ngayon, let's proceed to sequence. Kanina, nagamit natin yung patterns or idea natin to identify the patterns para malaman natin yung mga next term. Pero, ano nga ba yung sequence? When we say sequence, it is the arrangement of numbers or a set of numbers written in a specific order with a specific rule. Gaya ng mga naunang halimbawa, or naunang example natin, they have their own specific rule for you able to identify what will be the next term for the given sequence. So let us try this. The sequence here is 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13. Can you guess what is the rule or the pattern for this sequence? I'll give you 5 seconds to think. Okay, so what will be the rule for this sequence? The rule is by adding 2 to its preceding term. As you can see, by adding 2, 3 will become 5, 5 will become 7, 7 will become 9, so on and so forth. Another try. How about this? I have here negative 10, negative 6, negative 2, positive 2, and 6, so on and so forth. What will be the rule or pattern for this sequence? Okay, the rule is by adding 4 to its preceding term. You have negative 10 plus 4 will give you negative 6. Negative 6 plus 4 will give you negative 2. Negative 2 plus 4 will give you positive 2. And 2 plus 4 will give you positive 6. If we are going to continue this sequence, 6 plus 4 will give you 10, so on and so forth. Another example. How about this sequence? 100, 95, 90, so on and so forth, up to 25, 20, and 15. I'll give you 5 seconds. Okay, the rule here is by subtracting 5 to its preceding term. Let us try to check. 100 minus 5 will give you 95. 95 subtracted by 5 will give you 90. 25 subtracted by 5 will give you 20. And 20 subtracted by 5 will give you 15. Another example. How about this? Negative 5, negative 15, negative 45, and negative 125, so on and so forth. What will be the rule? Okay, the rule here is by multiplying 3 to its preceding term. Let us try to check. Negative 5 multiplied by 3 will give you negative 15. Negative 15 multiplied by 3 will give you negative 45. And negative 45 multiplied by 3 will give you negative 125. Okay, another. How about this one? You have 80, 40, 20, 10, and 5. Can you guess what will be the rule for this? Okay, for this example, the rule is by dividing 2 to its preceding term. Let us try to check. 80 divided by 2 will become 40. 40 divided by 2 will become 20. 20 divided by 2 will become 10, and 10 divided by 2 will become 5. Okay, so let us try to have another one. How about this? You have 1 over 3, 1 over 6, 1 over 12, 1 over 24, 1 over 28, 48, so on and so forth. Can you guess what will be the rule? Okay, the rule here is by multiplying 1/2 to its preceding term. Let us try to check. 1/2 times, or 1/3 times 1/2. So sa multiplication of fraction, the only thing you need is the parallel. Numerator to numerator and denominator to denominator. So 1 times 1 will give you 1, 3 times 2 will give you 6, so on and so forth. Sequence also can be a finite or infinite. When we say finite, it has a first term and the last term from its sequence. When we say infinite, it is an endless progression of discrete objects, especially in numbers. So let us try this one. Can you guess if this sequence is finite or infinite? I'll give you 5 seconds to think. Okay, this sequence is an example of finite. Very simple. It has start and we have an end. Another. How about this sequence? Can you identify if this is finite or infinite? Okay, this sequence is an example of infinite sequence. It's easy to identify if this is infinite because of its what we call ellipses, the 3 dots after the last term. This symbol will represent as the continuation of the sequence or number. Another example. Can you identify if this is finite or infinite? Okay, this sequence is an example of finite sequence. It has start and it has an end. If the ellipsis is between the terms, this sequence is an example of finite. It means that in this area, you have the 85, 80, so on and so forth, down to 25, 20, and 15. Another example. Can you identify if this is finite or infinite? Okay, so it is the same in example number 2. So this sequence is infinite because of its ellipses at the last part. It means that this sequence is continuous. How about this one? Is this finite or infinite? Okay, this example is similar to those examples. This is finite. It has a start and it has an end. Another example. Is this finite or infinite? Okay, this sequence is an example of infinite sequence. Same in example number 2 and number 4, it has an ellipsis at the last part of the given sequence. Remember this. Finite if it has a start and end, and if the sequence has no ellipses. Another finite if the ellipsis is in between the given terms. And this is what we call ellipsis. And the last one, if the ellipsis is at the end of the given sequence, this sequence is an example of infinite sequence. Okay, now let's talk about the terms of sequence. So when we say terms, it is any number in a sequence. So for example, I have here the sequence of 2, 5, 8, 11, 14, so on and so forth. 2 here represent as your first term or a sub 1. 5 is your second term or a sub 2. 8 is the third term or a sub 3. 11 here is the fourth term or a sub 4, and 14 here is the fifth term or a sub 5, up to the a sub n, or what we call the nth term. For example, give the first 5 terms of the sequence whose general term is given by a sub n is equal to 3n plus 2. To find the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth terms of this sequence, just simply substitute 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for in the formula a sub n is equal to 3n plus 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 will be the value for your variable n. That's right. So if n is 1, your first term will become a sub 1 is equal to 3 times 1 plus 2. And the first term will be 5. If n is 2, or if you are looking for the second term, the equation will be a sub 2 is equal to 3 times 2 plus 2. So 3 times 2 will become 6, plus 2, it will become 8. It means the second term is 8. How about for the third term? For the third term, the equation will be a sub 3 is equal to 3 times 3 plus 2, and 3 times 3 is equal to 9 plus 2 will give you 11. It means that the third term from the given sequence is 11. How about for the fourth term? So it will become a sub 4 is equal to 3 multiplied by 4 plus 2. 3 times 4 will give you 12 plus 2 will give you 14. Okay, let us try the fifth term. The equation will be a sub 5 is equal to 3 times 5 plus 2. 3 times 5 will give you 15 plus 2 will give you 17. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here are the values for n for the first term, second, third, fourth, and fifth term. Therefore, the first 5 terms of the sequence are 5, 8, 11, 14, and 17. Let's try this another example. Give the first 5 terms of the sequence whose general terms is given by a sub n is equal to 2 divided by 4n minus 1. Again, to find the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth terms of this sequence, just simply substitute 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for the given formula. First, we are looking for the first term, n should be equal to 1. The equation will be 2 over 4 times 1 minus 1. 4 times 1 is 4 minus 1 will give you 3. It means the first term will be 2 over 3. Next one. If you are looking for the second term, your n will become 2. So you have 2 over 4 times 2 minus 1. 4 times 2 here will give you 8 minus 1, it will become 7. It means the second term will be 2 over 7. How about the third term? For the third term, the equation will be a sub 3 is equal to 2 over 4 multiplied by 3 minus 1. So 4 times 3 will give you 12, minus 1 will give you 11. Therefore, the third term for this sequence is 2 over 11. How about the fourth term? You have 2 over 4 times 4 minus 1. 4 times 4 will give you 16, minus 1 will give you 15. It means the fourth term is 2 over 15. How about the fifth term? For the fifth term, it will give you 2 over 4 times 5 minus 1. 4 times 5 will give you 20, minus 1 will give you 19. The fifth term here will become 2 over 19. Therefore, the first 5 terms of the sequence are 2 over 3, 2 over 7, 2 over 11, 2 over 15, and 2 over 19. Another example. Give the first 5 terms of the sequence whose general terms is given by a sub n is equal to n squared plus 2n minus 4. Again, to find the first, second, third, fourth, and the fifth term, we will substitute again the value of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to the given formula. For the first term, you have here 1 squared plus 2 times 1 minus 4. 1 squared will give you 1, 2 times 1 will give you 2. So 1 plus 2 will give you 3. Then 3 minus 4 will have negative 1. How about the second term? For the second term, you have 2 squared plus 2 multiplied by 2 minus 4. 2 squared will give you 4. 2 times 2 will give you also 4. So you have 4 plus 4 here will give you 8. And 8 minus 4, the second term will be 4. How about the third term? For the third term, you have 3 squared plus 2 multiplied by 3 minus 4. 3 squared here will give you 9. And 2 multiplied by 3 will give you 6. So it will become 3 squared plus 6 will give you 15. And 15 subtracted by 4 will give you 11. How about the fourth term? For the fourth term, you have here 4 squared plus 2 multiplied by 4 minus 4. 4 squared here will give you 16. And 2 times 4 will give you 8. So, 16 plus 8 will give you 24. And 24 subtracted by 4 will give you 20. And for the fifth term, you have here 5 squared plus 2 times 5 minus 4. 5 squared here will give you 25. 2 times 5 will give you 10. 25 plus 10 is 35. And 35 minus 4 will give you 31. Therefore, the first 5 terms of the sequence are negative 1, 4, 11, 20, and 31. Okay, so kung kanina hinanap natin yung mga terms for the given sequence using their formula, ngayon naman, gagawin natin, we're going to find the general form for the nth term of a sequence. So, babalik na rin naman natin. So, kung kayo na meron tayong given formula and we try to give some numbers of sequence, the first 5 terms, first 3 terms, so on and so forth. So, ngayon naman, we will try to look for the general form or what we call the nth term of a sequence. So, for example, let's say I have here a sequence of 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, so on and so forth. As you can see, this example is an infinite sequence. So, ang kailangan natin gawin dito is to identify or to give the nth term or the general form of this sequence. So, bago yun, let us try to observe first the patterns for this sequence. Okay, so as you can see, the patterns for this sequence is by increasing 5. Okay, for this sequence, 5 plus 5 will become 10, 10 plus 5 will become 15, 15 plus 5 will become 20, 20 plus 5 will become 25, so on and so forth. Okay, so kapag nalaman na natin yung pattern, we will try to check this by subtracting its preceding term to its previous term. So, paano siya? We have here 25 minus 20, 20 minus 15, 15 minus 10, and 10 minus 5. So, once we subtract the preceding term to its previous term, the difference is 5. As you can see, kailangan yung common difference natin ay parehas dun sa naging pattern natin from this sequence. And 5 here is called its common difference, or D. So, kumuha ako ng isang general form para maging pattern ninyo in writing the general form for the given sequence. So, ginawa ko siyang B sub n plus A sub 0, where B represent as the common difference, kung ano yung nakuha nating difference ng given sequence, and n, of course, the number of terms, and A sub 0. Now, yung A sub 0 naman natin na to, if we are going to subtract the first term and its common difference. Okay, so paano natin kukuha yung A sub 0? So, the first term and its common difference. Nakuha natin yung common difference kanina nung sinubtract natin yung preceding terms sa kanyang previous term. Yung A sub 1 natin is the first term from the given sequence, which is the first term is 5. So we'll just simply substitute the value of A sub 1 and B from this equation. So you have here A sub 0 is equal to 5 minus 5. Then 5 minus 5 will give you 0. Ngayon, what will be the general form for this sequence 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, so on and so forth. So the general form will be the common difference will be 5. A sub 0 is 0, so hindi natin siya kailangang isulat. And it will become A sub n is equal to 5n. So let us try to check. Balikan natin yung ginawa natin kanina sa previous video. Kung ang n natin ay 1, 5 times 1 will give you 5. If we are looking for the second term, n will be 2. 5 times 2 will give you 10. If we are looking for the fifth term, 5 times 5 will give you 25. So the general form here is A sub n is equal to 5n. Another example. Let's say you have here a sequence 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, so on and so forth. So una, check natin yung pattern. Kung ano ba yung naging pattern ng sequence na to. So as you observe, this sequence is increasing by 2. Okay? So you have plus 2. How about its common difference? If we subtract the preceding to its previous term, 10 minus 8, 8 minus 6, 6 minus 4, and 4 minus 2. If we are going to subtract that, the common difference will give you a 2. Again, 2 here is your common difference. And by using the general form pattern, para madalian tayo, D sub n plus A sub 0, solve ulit natin yung A sub 0 by subtracting the first term and our common difference. So nakuha na natin common difference, which is 2. And yung first term natin, the A sub 1, is also 2. So A sub 0 will become 2 minus 2. Okay, so 2 minus 2 will give you 0. Now, dahil 0 naman yung A sub 0, ibig sabihin wala tayong idudugtong sa kanya. Wala tayong ilalagay. We'll just simply copy the value of our common difference, which is 2. Therefore, the general form for this sequence is A sub n is equal to 2n. So let us try to check. Let us try to check if we are going to find the fourth term of this sequence. So the fourth term is 2 times 4 will give you 8. Okay. Another example. Let's say we have here a sequence of 5, 9, 13, 17, and 21, so on and so forth. So again, let us try to check ano yung pattern. ng bawat term. Okay? So as you can see, the pattern here is by adding 4 to its preceding term. How about its common difference? 21 minus 17, 17 minus 13, 13 minus 9, and 9 minus 5. So the common difference here is also 4. So again, 4 is the common difference for this sequence. Okay, so ngayon, solve naman natin ngayon si a sub 0 dahil meron na tayong common difference. So we have a sub 1 minus b, where the common difference is 4. Okay, 4. And a sub 1 here is 5. So a sub 0 will become 5 minus 4. 5 minus 4 will give you positive 1. So it means the general form for this sequence is you have 4n plus 1. 1 here is your a sub 0, and 4 is the common difference from the given sequence. Okay, let us try to check. Let's say we are looking for the third term. So if we are looking for the third term, it means the value of n is 3. So 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 will give you 13. Okay. Another example. Let's say we have here 1, 4, 7, 10, and 13. Let us try to check or look for the pattern for this sequence. Okay, as you observe, the pattern for this sequence is by adding 3 to its preceding term. So how about its common difference? 13 minus 10, 10 minus 7, 7 minus 4, and 4 minus 1. If we are going to look for the common difference, the common difference here is positive 3. So 3 is the common difference for this sequence. So again, para makuha natin yung general form, alamin natin kung ano yung magiging value ni a sub 0. So a sub 0 is a sub 1 minus its common difference. A sub 1 here is 1, and your common difference is 3. So you have 1 minus 3. Therefore, a sub 0 is negative 2. Now, the general form for this sequence will be a sub n is equal to 3n minus 2. Minus 2 kasi the a sub 0 is negative 2. Okay, so let's say we're going to find the fourth term for this sequence. Check lang natin siya. From fourth term, n will become 4. So 3 times 4 will give you 12. 12 minus 2 will give you 10. Okay. How about this one? How can you give the general form for this sequence? If we are going to observe clearly each term for this sequence, all numbers here are perfect square numbers. Now, if you will encounter a form of sequence na lahat sila ay perfect square number, okay, the general form will be okay, purahin na natin to. Okay, the general form will be n squared. Okay, bakit n squared? So try natin. What is 1 squared? 1 squared is still 1. The second term, 2 squared will be 4. 3 squared will be 9. 4 squared will give you 16. And 5 squared will give you 25. Okay? So, always remember, kung makakita tayo ng sequence na lahat ng term ay perfect square numbers, the general form for perfect square numbers are an is equal to n squared. Another example. How about this? Have you observed what happened to a given sequence? Okay. Now, if you're going to identify the patterns for this sequence, this is multiplied by -2. Okay. So, kung multiplied by -2 ang nangyari sa kanya, it means instead of subtracting the terms, we are going to divide. Okay? So we are going to divide the preceding term to its previous term. Okay. If you are going to divide 16 divided by -8, -8 divide 4, 4 divide -2, -2 divide 1, that's all gives you -2. And -2 here is called common ratio. So for the common ratio, no, ito yung ginawa kong form para sa inyo. So it will become r raised to n minus 1, where r here is -2, therefore the general form is -2 raised to n minus 1. So let us try to check. If n is 1, or if you are looking for the first term, 1 minus 1 is 0. Any numbers raised to 0 is always 1, except 0. What if n is 2? 2 minus 1 will give you 1. -2 raised to 1 is still -2. If 3 minus 1 will give you 2. -2 then squared will give you 4. Let's say this is 5. So 5 minus 1 will give you 4. -2 raised to 4 will give you positive 16. Again, -2 here is called the common ratio. Okay. We have different forms of sequence. We have what we call arithmetic sequence, geometric sequence, harmonic sequence, and Fibonacci sequence. But for this lesson, we will focus on arithmetic sequence. Okay. But what is arithmetic sequence? When we say arithmetic sequence, it is a form of sequence where the preceding term was obtained by adding the previous term and a fixed number called common difference. And when we say common difference, a common difference was obtained by subtracting the preceding term to its previous term. Sometimes, or we can say that common difference is one of the pattern in arithmetic sequence to identify what will be the next term for that sequence. Okay. Now, can you identify which of the two examples below is arithmetic sequence? For the first sequence, we have here 7, 11, 15, 19, 23, so on and so forth. Then the other sequence, 5, 11, 18, 26, and 35. First thing to do, let us try to check their difference from the preceding term to its previous term. So let us try to check the first sequence. You have 11 minus 7, it will give you 4. 15 minus 11 will give you 4 also. 19 minus 15 will give you also 4. 23 minus 19 is also 4. How about the other sequence? 11 minus 5 is 6. 18 minus 11 will give you 7. 26 minus 18 will give you 8. 25 minus 26 will give you 9. Based from the definition, it states that arithmetic sequence has the what you call common difference. Based on the two examples, the first sequence will give you a common difference of 4. So it means the first sequence is the what you call arithmetic sequence, and the second sequence is not a arithmetic sequence. Let us try to have a simple practice. Can we find the common difference and the next three terms from the given below? The sequence here are 5, 12, 19, 26. Give its common difference and the next three terms. Okay, the common difference from this given is 7. So if we're going to subtract 12 minus 5, it gives you 7. 19 minus 12, 7. 26 minus 19 is 7. So what will be the next three terms? Okay, you have 33, 40, and 47. How? 26 plus 7 will give you 33. 33 plus 7 will give you 40. 40 plus 7 will give you 47. Okay, another one. Find the common difference and the next three terms from the given below. We have here 1, 5, 9, and 13. Okay, the common difference from this given is 4. So let us try to check. 5 minus 1 will give you 4. 9 minus 5 will give you also 4. 13 minus 9 is also 4. How about the next two terms? We have here 17, 21, and 25. By adding the preceding term to its common difference, 13 plus 4 will give you 17. 17 plus 4, 21. 21 plus 4 is 25. Last example. Find the common difference and the next three terms from the given below. We have here 15, 12, 9, and 6. Okay, the common difference from this sequence is negative 3. How about the next three terms? But before that, it will become negative 3 because 12 minus 15 will give you a negative value, which is negative 3. 9 minus 12 is also negative 3. 6 minus 9 is also negative 3. So the next two terms will be 3, 0, and negative 3. So let us try. 6 plus negative 3, this is unlike sign, so we are going to subtract, will give you 3. Then 3 plus negative 3, this is unlike sign, you need to subtract, will give you 0. Then 0 plus negative 3 will give you negative 3. Okay, here's another one. Find the common difference and the next three terms from the given below. You have negative 7, negative 11, negative 15, and negative 19. So what will be its common difference and the next three terms for this sequence? Okay. The common difference here is -4. So by subtracting -11 minus 7 will give you a -4. -15 minus -11 also -4. -19 minus -15 is also -4. How about the next three terms? Okay, you have -23, -27, and -31. So by adding -19 plus -4 will give you -23. -23 plus -4 will give you -27. -27 plus -4 will give you -31. Okay, so that's all for this week. Thank you and see you next week.